What's up? Welcome back to the channel. Today's agenda is guppies. I've done guppies in the past. I've had them in 10 gallons, 5 gallons, 20 gallons. But this time I want to do guppies on a bigger scale. I've had them breed in all sorts of different containers and tanks. They all outgrew those tanks. I want to see how much I can breed in a bigger enclosure. So the way that my aquariums are all set up in the garage right now, there's not that much space. I have about a 19-inch gap between my sump and a little cabinet that I have on the left side of my setup. So I need to find an aquarium that's around 19 inches square. Looking over and over again, I couldn't find anything. I couldn't find any glass aquariums like that. Acrylic aquariums like that were super expensive, but an idea sparked and I came up with the best solution ever. So a while ago I made a DIY sump. It was made out of a Brute trash can, and that held up water very nice. So kind of gave me the idea to go look for another Brute trash can on a bigger scale. So here's what I found. I went to Home Depot and I found me a 19-inch Brute trash can. It's around 32 gallons or so. It holds a lot of water, but it holds it upwards and it's tall. So it fits perfectly in that spot. The height is perfect and I don't need to make a stand or anything. Pretty much just have it set there, filled up with water, and put media in there and call it a day. I always keep extra cycled media in all of my tanks just in case something like this happens. So I don't have to wait for the tank to cycle. I don't have to worry about ammonia spikes. So we're currently on the road to pick up some guppies. I'll come back when I have them. So for this part, we're just going to do a little voiceover. When I got back, I wanted to put the guppies in the tub as fast as possible. Just because when I got them, they weren't in the best conditions. And I'll explain why very soon. So whenever I buy guppies, I don't really go to Petco or PetSmart and buy guppies over there for like $3 or $4. We have a local fish store over here that sells guppies as feeders. Most of the time they're just guppies, fancy guppies. Sometimes they're endlers, sometimes they're cobras. They're just so young to the point where their colors aren't developed yet. So the owner sells them as live feeders. And the reason why I wanted to get them out of their water as fast as possible is because when they're in a feeder fish condition or a feeder fish tank, they're not really in the most ideal enclosure. The tanks are filled with fish to the brim. They're very packed, and some fish in there were showing a little bit of signs of illness. So I just wanted to get them out of that water as fast as possible and get them into mine. So when it comes to me buying these guppies, I knew they weren't in the best condition whatsoever. So I go through a couple of steps in order for me to process them into my tub. The first step is to get a clear container and a couple of cups, because I'm going to use these cups for separating along with acclimating the fish themselves. The next step is to get a little bit of Seachem Prime. I always feel comfortable dripping in a little bit of Seachem Prime into the container that I'm acclimating in. I don't know, it's just a thing that I do whenever I bring in fish. And then right after that, I'll get some tank water, mix it inside the cup that I have the Seachem Prime in, and pour it into the clean container. After that, I'll go ahead and cut open the bag that the guppies are in, pour the guppies into the container with the Seachem Prime and the mixed tank water, and let them sit there for a little bit while I get everything else prepared. Oh, and you can see on the bag I got all of these for $5, which is pretty cool. So the next step is very crucial. This step is called culling. You want to take out all the unhealthy ones, the dead ones, and most importantly, the deformed ones. Whenever you're breeding guppies, it's very common for you to see guppies that have a S-shaped body or a spine. What I've heard is you need to take out these specific guppies is because when they breed, they develop S-shaped and deformed young, which will give you lower grade babies and pretty much cause issues later on in the breeding process. Some people, when they cull, they feed their guppies to their other fish or dispose of them however they want. But in my case, I have a little tub outside. It's heated a little bit and there's a lot of plants, and I don't really have fish in there, so I'm just going to throw it in there right now. That tub is pretty much empty. All it has is plants and duckweed. And if they become healthy over time, I'll most likely reintroduce them to the group. But if not, they'll just kind of chill out there and hopefully survive. So as I'm finishing up the separation process of the guppies, you'll start to notice that the water level on the container is actually rising. This is because I'm pouring in water from the tub to slowly acclimate them to the temperature of the aquarium and the water parameters. And after they're done acclimating, I'll go ahead and scoop them up out of the container and slowly put them into the tub and let them enjoy life. I came back 20 minutes later after the guppies were introduced. Everyone's doing fine. They're swimming around. No one's really looking in bad condition at all. Everyone looks healthy. Everyone looks like they're doing good. Before I finish off this process, I poured in a little bit of Paragard. This is an anti-parasite medication. So I poured in a little bit just in case these guys have some parasites. But I guess the other satisfaction of buying these guppies is they're baby guppy fish, you know, and then they're being sold as feeders. So they're pretty much destined to be fed to another predator or pretty much die. So getting these guys and getting into a tub, it's a pretty good feeling. Hopefully they'll be able to breed for me and create more guppy generations to come. So to finish this video, I'll give you guys a little breakdown for the guppy tub. The original price of these guppies were 6 for $1, but I think when they scooped, they probably scooped up extra ones. So a total of 40 guppies. One guppy was dead. 4 or 5 of them were culled and put into my pond. Again, this tub is a 30-gallon brute commercial line trash can. Some fish keepers on the forums use this type of container to contain RO water or even collect rainwater to change their aquarium water. I have a 100-watt heater in here. Because it's in my garage during wintertime, it will be a little hard for it to keep up if it was any less. I'm filtering it with a sponge filter along with cycled ceramic media. The plants include Java fern, Java moss, subwassertane, Amazon sword, and pothos. I recorded a little bit of GoPro footage of the fish underwater and them chasing around a little massivore pellet, and I'll just leave you guys with that. I'd like to thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the next one, and peace, guys.